Hello and welcome back. Now that we're done with the overview, let's have a look at each of the 9 phyla in kingdom Animalia. Without further ado, let's have a look at the very first phylum, Phylum Porifera. Undersea life would not be the same without these sponges, so let's have a look at the unique characteristics of Phylum Porifera. The first characteristic is that they do not have true tissues, so Porifera are classified as parazoa. They also have an asymmetrical body plan, so they lack body symmetry. They are sessile or immobile, so they're not going to be moving around. And they have many body openings. The body wall of sponges consists of porocytes with ostium. So these will be the entrance of water into the spongiocell or the central cavity. So ruang di tengah-tengah sponges itu kita panggil sebagai spongiocell. Dan porocytes adalah sel-sel di sini. Porocyte itu dia membentuk pores ataupun lubang, ruang, liang. Okay, so water will go in through each of the ostium in porocyte. Another opening in the sponge's body is the osculum, which is where water will exit out of the sponge's cell. So this up here is the osculum. Now, once again, this is a diagram that is showing the body plan of sponges. And we are going to be looking at the choanocytes. Okay, in the choanocytes, you will find the flagella, which will beat to generate water current by creating the flow of water through the pores or ostia of the porocytes and then out through the osculum. So, ini adalah sel yang digelar sebagai choanocyte. Okay, dia berada di bahagian dalam. Flagella dia akan berputar untuk membentuk current. Okay, so water current, it's going to cause the movement of water in this direction as shown in the diagram. Another structure that you can find on the choanocyte is the collar, which is where the cell gets its names. So this part is the collar. The function of the collar is to trap the food particles that is going to pass through the sponge. All right, we're going to also look at another cell that is in the sponge body, which is amoebocyte or amoeboid cell. So these are cells which have shape, an irregular shape. Sebab bentuk sel ini nampak pelik dan tidak regular, kita samakan bentuk dia kepada bentuk amoeba. That is why it is called amoeboid cell. The amoeboid cell will absorb food from water and choanocytes by phagocytosis. So it will ingest the food, and then after digesting the food, it will transport the nutrients to other cells in the sponge. This amoeboid cell will also secrete calcium carbonate to form sharp spicules and secrete collagen protein to form spongin. So, spicules ni yang kita akan tengok sebentar tadi dihasilkan oleh amoeboid, dan amoeboid tukang hadam, tukang hasilkan collagen. Okay, so this is the spicules I talked about. These are sharp little things that will provide support for a sponge and protect it from predators. So, benda tajam-tajam di dalam sponge, dialah tu. Okay, so let's have a better look at Phylum Porifera. Organisms in Phylum Porifera are filter feeders. So they capture food particles that are suspended in the water that pass through their body. Air limpas, air bawa food particles. So apa yang ada tu dia akan filter dan dia akan makan. Porifera can undergo sexual reproduction. The amoeboid cells, which is here, will produce the gametes, which are eggs and sperm. For them to do sexual reproduction, they only have to release the egg and sperm into the water. So the egg and sperm will float around in the water, in the oceans, and then they will meet each other, they will fuse, and then after they fuse, they will form a new sponge. Porifera can also reproduce by asexual reproduction, which is through budding. Okay, so dia akan tumbuh satu part daripada dia. Part itu tercabut daripada sponge original. Bila the fragment sampai tempat baru, dia akan membesar menjadi sponge dan individu baru. So that is budding. And another thing we learned about Phylum Porifera is its organ system. So it does not have true tissues, but it does have some different types of cells that can be classified as organs. So the first of these organ systems is the choanocyte, which is the collar cell. So this thing, collar cell. These will line the sponge's cell. So if this is the structure of the sponge, okay, dengan dia punya lubang di atas, choanocyte will be found here in the blue areas. It will be all over and lining the inside of the sponge cell. Each will have a flagellum that is ringed by a collar. Ada flagellum, dikelilingi oleh collar. And then the flagella will generate water current by creating the flow of water through the pores or ostia of porocytes and out through the osculum. So this means it will create water current to move this direction. And the collar will then trap the food particles as the water passes through. Okay, so this is the structure of the choanocyte, and it is always together with amoeboid cells. The second thing we need to look at in the organ system of Porifera is the spicule. So they are these spiky thingies that you can find in the sponge. These are secreted by the amoeboid cell. They are sharp-pointed structures. It's not a cell. And they provide support for a sponge and protection from predators. Okay, so kalau ada benda yang cuba makan sponge itu, dia akan termakan spicule ini dan tercucuk lah dalam mulut dia. Lepas tu dia give up makan sponge. Alright, and the last that we will look at in this organ system is the amoeboid cell. Amoeboid cells absorb food from water and choanocytes by phagocytosis. So they digest the food and they transport the nutrients to other cells. And they also secrete calcium carbonate to form sharp spicules and collagen proteins to form spongin. Phylum Porifera has a water system. The water system, as I have mentioned several times in this video, is when the water enters through the ostia of porocytes to the sponge cell or the central cavity and then flows out through the larger opening called the osculum. So dari tepi-tepi, pergi tengah, dan keluar ke atas. And that is pretty much it that you need to know about Phylum Porifera. They can be very colorful. This is one example that I like to show, which is a Leucosolinia species. So they are quite the cute little sponges. And they also have other shapes, other colors, and they can be very vibrant. They do make the marine ecosystem more beautiful, and they play a large role in it as well as filter feeders. Okay, so here is an extra video for you to watch. You can scan the QR code or follow the link. You can also follow the link in the description of this video to head over and watch Jonathan Bird's Blue World. I think it will help you understand the phylum even better. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye!